It took me a while to get Outer Wilds. I didn't dislike the game by any means. Hell, I appreciated it quite a bit. I would often tell myself, you know, I can see why so-and-so likes it, but maybe this game just isn't for me. Granted, I do think I did myself some disservices while playing through the game. Frankly, I felt super rushed to complete it. I have quite a big backlog of games, as I'm sure many of you gamers do as well, and I have the hard time shaking the feeling that I just need to beat whatever game I'm working on before I can move on to the next one. I saw Outer Wilds as something, you know, nice to play in the meantime while I waited for God of War. God of War, badass. I also impatiently looked up some puzzle solutions, and this was a huge mistake. If I had only given myself a night or two just to sleep off my confusion instead of feeling compelled to just beat the game, I think I would have appreciated the mystery of the game that much more. And honestly, I think I read too much into what I perceived as hype for the game. Some of my favorite YouTubers and content creators absolutely adore this game, and I was super frustrated that I just couldn't get there. I couldn't see what they saw in the game. But sometime after completing the game and its DLC, I found my aha moment. And funnily enough, it was while I was grinding out the last achievements I had yet to complete for the game. I've been going through a bit of a achievement hunting phase, you know? Gotta get my trophies. The achievement I was trying to get was the Hotshot achievement, in which you have to manually navigate your ship to the sun station. This is a very difficult task considering how fast and small your target is. Normally you arrive to the sun station via a puzzle from a different planet. Anyways, after many fiery deaths, I snagged that achievement. It was so late. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I should have just gone straight to bed. But, you know, I felt compelled to stick around at the sun station. I sat there on my couch and I just kept on playing. I mean, I flew all the way there and died many times to get there, so I, you know, might as well stick around for a bit, right? However, after spending a few minutes perusing the station, I found myself in a particular spot that I'd never batted an eye at during my initial playthrough. At the center of the sun station, before entering the chamber in which you can see the sun, there is a window on the opposite end in which I could see the rest of the solar system. And as each planet, like on a stage, slowly passed by seemingly one by one, I felt something that I had never felt up to this point while playing the game. I couldn't quite describe what I was feeling, but it was a moment in which I realized, okay, I get it now. Outer Wilds is a special game. Since experiencing that feeling in that moment, I knew I wanted to make a video about this game, but even then I wasn't sure exactly what this video was going to be about. Unsurprisingly, this moment and feeling had stuck with me for a while, but I couldn't quite, you know, coin exactly what I had felt. But in the meantime, I was gathering footage to make this video and continuing to ponder exactly what it was that I had felt. And eventually it dawned on me that what I had experienced may have been what is called the overview effect. The overview effect is a cognitive shift in awareness reported by some astronauts and cosmonauts during spaceflight. It refers to the experience of seeing firsthand the reality that the Earth is in space, a tiny, fragile ball of life hanging in the void. The experience often transforms astronauts' perspective on the planet and humanity's place in the universe. Some common aspects of it are feeling of awe for the planet, a profound understanding of the interconnection of all life. I mean, this has to be it, right? What I was feeling in that moment at the sun station was a realization that all of these planets that I had been to, and all of the other explorers that I had met on my travels, and all of the ancient texts that I had uncovered were all connected. And it seems so obvious now talking to you guys and, you know, after having played the game, right? But this goes beyond, you know, the game's art direction or the themes that it presents. The game's very mechanics and gameplay perpetuate this overview effect, as the game's solar system functions like clockwork. No matter where you are in the solar system of Outer Wilds, the sky is always moving. The planets are always in rotation. Everything is in motion. In one moment, I can be on this mountain on Timber Hearth, and within minutes, I can be casually strolling on the surface of Ember Twin. And within that time span, the solar system will continue its loop no matter where I am currently located at any given time. And of course, other open world games have similar systems with day and night cycles and seamless loading screens and all of that. But no other game has captured the intimacy or the connectedness of an open world like Outer Wilds has for me. That sky, man, it's all there. And it's so funny that even after spending 30 hours in the base game and its DLC, after experiencing these mechanics firsthand, that it didn't click until this very moment at the Sun Station, the very moment in which I experienced the overview effect of Outer Wilds. Something about the unexpectedness of this site, its incompatibility with anything we have ever experienced on Earth, elicits a deep emotional response. Suddenly, you get a feeling you've never had before, that you're an inhabitant of the Earth. No other game has been able to elicit this kind of realization, that I'm an inhabitant of the Earth and of this universe. Despite its vastness and how overwhelmingly incomprehensible it all is, I belong here and you do too. I feel like this is described very well by the existentialist philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer in his explanation of the sublime, as the eternal, peaceful knowing subject, the condition of the object, and therefore the supporter of this whole world. The vastness of the world, which disquieted us before, rests now in us. The Outer Wilds showcases the sublime like no other video game has for me. From that moment in the Sun Station, I came to understand just how beautiful it was to be a resident in this virtual space. From experiencing the coziness of Timber Hearth, the awe of Giant's Deep, the stillness of Ember Twin, the tranquility of Brittle Hollow, and the warmth of a fellow traveler. It all had purpose. Nothing was fleeting. It was all connected. It is succinct, ineffable, and beyond beliefs. It transcends the limitations of any spoken language. No translations are required. In her gentle and loving caress, Planet Earth reaches out through her mind-boggling reality and beauty to moisten our hearts and wake us up from the destructive stupor of separation. I realized that I may be waxing poetic about, what is simply a video game, but it was so much more than a video game to me. It was this video game that helped me garner a new appreciation for my place in the universe, on this planet we call Earth. It was this video game that helped me remember that no matter how dark and vast the universe is, and no matter how small and insignificant we may feel in it, we belong here. It was this video game that reminded me that I matter, and you do too.